Hello, welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat, the YouTube channel from Thailand that's mainly all about Thailand. And today we have a gentleman, I use that word loosely, I'll talk to him and tell you if that's correct or not. He's been a comic for 15 years, performing more than 3,000 shows in 28 countries. This gentleman is a former Canadian Comedy Award winner for Best Stand-Up Comic. Welcome, Brian Aylward. Did I get the name right?
Oh, sure, I'll take it. Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's a pleasure. We're going to talk in a minute about how you became successful, because you are. Mm-hmm. And then also, you're based here in Thailand, so how does that work for you? And all your projects, which you seem to have loads on, and your Amazon product that you can plug as well.
All right.
First of all, though, let's just get back to, briefly, your childhood.
Okay, all right.
If you can remember that far. You were born in Canada.
I was, yeah, Newfoundland.
All right. Were you a funny child?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was an attention seeker for sure. I definitely was an attention whore. That's how it started. I think it started with sports. It was first like hockey, and then I wasn't good at hockey. Then it was baseball. I wasn't good at baseball. Then it was basketball. I got pretty good at basketball. Ended up going to school on scholarship into college and stuff. And after basketball, it was comedy. So, yeah, but I was always a funny kid, class clown, all that. Just, you know, couldn't shut my mouth.
School plays and stuff? No?
A little bit. Like, it's funny, when I was a kid, like primary school, I did that. I did school plays. I did a couple of speeches and stuff. And then I just became a jock. So, you know, sports and theater were totally kind of separate back then. Yeah. And so a little bit of that, but no, not as much as I wanted, no.
All right. Well, unless you got anything from the beginning, shall we move on? Or have you got any questions? Okay, so let's get to, you are successful now. How did it start? And I see on your website, by the way, well impressed with your website.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, very busy.
I used to be successful.
You used to be successful.
Yeah, I don't do comedy anymore. I'm a retired comedian.
How did the graph go like this and then down like
this? Yeah. Thanks, COVID.
2005 was sort of, I would say, the tipping point where, can you explain what happened?
Yeah, that's when I started, almost 16 years ago now, November 11th, 2005, just on a dare with my ex-wife, actually. She was my girlfriend at the time. She used to smoke. I wasn't a smoker then, and she...
So she must be still in
yeah. So we made a bet, like if she...
Smoked cigarettes or smoked the other kind?
Cigarettes.
Okay.
She used to smoke, and I didn't like it, and so we made a bet if she quit that I would do comedy. Because I always wanted to do it, but I grew up in Newfoundland, Canada. There was no stand-up. I mean, we had a sketch group out of Canada, Codco, which are pretty amazing, but there was no stand-up, so I thought it was just something Americans did or the British did. It was just something I saw on TV. But it was always in my head, because I watched it. I watched David Letterman all the time. I watched these comics. I just thought it was amazing that one person, you know, just got to, you know, captivate people. And so eventually, yeah, she quit, and I jumped up on stage at a rowdy expatriate bar in Anyang, Seoul.
Yeah.
And that was it. I got over that. I was 31. I was pretty old.
Yeah, so I was trying to think back.
After that, she turned around and said, "Only joking."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he says, "I was trying to."
Yeah, exactly.
Can you remember what the set was? Well, you didn't have a set in your mind,
I actually have it on video, but I would never watch it. No, I was really kind of ranty and just. It was not good, but I did 14 minutes. I was supposed to do 7.
Well,
that's quite brave.
Yeah.
I mean, you did that set,
yeah,
and obviously you got a reaction which probably surprised you, which was quite good. So that would encourage you to do more. But if they'd all gone boo,
well, there was a bit of that. It was more because I mean it was about maybe 150 people there. My friends were really supportive at the time, which was nice. So about 20.
Mic, was it?
Yeah, it was an open mic, but it was a really rowdy open mic. It was a bunch of GIs and drunk teachers would hang out on Fridays. And like 25 of my friends came out. They all sat in the front, which is, you know, super intimidating. It was so nice of them to do it, right? But I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You'd rather than being at the back.
Yeah. And I did it, but it was more the fear. I was so scared because I'd been in comedy clubs before. I've been on lists and didn't go up. Like I just bailed. I just got over the fear, and then 3 months later, moved to Toronto and just kind of, you know, got decent at this.
So after you did that, that was the springboard into, look, I can do it. So an agent signed you up that day, and you were on a $250,000 tour or so?
No, I was on the expat scene in Korea at the time.
Why Korea?
I went there to teach English. Yeah, they were recruiting English teachers at our university. And I remember that after I graduated, went there. And I would just go to all the little dive bars in Korea where the poets were, where the old musicians were, and I was the comedy guy. And they let me in. And lucky for them, lucky for me, I should say, because like, I don't know, I might not have continued. Like, I was horrible, you know? But I would just show up with my
you
dick
got
jokes.
mic time.
And I got mic time, and people were nice to me and welcomed me back, and I felt kind of part of something, and I just would show up at these bars like Woodstock and Tony's and just scream my dreams into the night. After some rock bar, I remember going on stage where the guitarist was up on the pool table shredding before me, and I had to go tell my jokes, and it was like 1 in the morning.
That is the worst combination.
The worst.
Music and comedy. It always fails.
Yeah.
Comedy in country and western sometimes works.
Yeah.
But not rock.
No, definitely not.
So, did you start a stand-up comedy club there?
In Korea, what happened was I started in 2000. Well, I went on stage in 2005. I went back to Canada for a year in Toronto because I really wanted to just go at this hard. And I was out every night at the open mics, just getting good at it, whatever. Got married, wanted to make some more money, so we decided to go back to Korea. And so I'm about 2 years in now in stand-up, but still I've only been on stage maybe 50 times, and you know, not a lot really. And I thought there must be more people like me, so I started a thing called Stand Up Seoul at the Canadian bar in Itaewon. And immediately we had 50, 60 people show up, half dozen people go on stage, and that turns into an institution where now people tour the country, world-class acts come over, and we've kept it going. We just did 12 years, 12-year anniversary.
So with this, you started off in comedy. How did you learn about the comedy timing and the structure? Because, you can be a naturally funny person, but when you go on stage, it's a completely different environment.
We're watching Letterman for a start.
Definitely.
You have to deal with hecklers and not crack up when turns on or something like that.
Yeah, I think
Like I would.
Yeah, with me, I think it's just. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. With me, I think.
You copy somebody or somebody?
Who
not
did
really
you?
copied. I think I'm just. You know, I'm a what's the word? Like I'm a late bloomer, and I'm a worker. So I just did it all the time, and I just got good at it naturally. Like I'm not a guy who's like, oh, this is the comedy theory I must follow. Like I'm not that dude. You eventually kind of find your voice. You realize, oh, I talk about these subjects a lot, or I'm a bit ranty, and you kind of lean into that more. And but I mean, like I think, like you said in the intro, I've done over 3,000 shows, you know, in 28 countries. So I just got good despite myself.
So the timing and all that, more or less, you're saying, came with experience, and it's in you anyway.
Yeah, I think it's in you anyway. People who are really funny, like I'm a natural storyteller for sure, and then you learn little things, inflection and following punctuation, and certain words are funny, like hard C words, hard consonants, or like there's little tricks and stuff to it. But
and when to get out of a joke and
when to
move
get
on
out,
to the next
totally,
one, right?
when to get out of a joke. Sometimes a lot of it is like what you don't say. You know, learning what not to say. And so you learn all that. But it took me years. I mean, I honestly tell people all the time, it's like I was garbage for 9 years. Like it felt like year 9, I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. And that was after, I don't know, 2,000 shows or something.
Because one of my questions would be, you know, can you remember some of your worst shows? But after 9 years, it's probably we haven't got enough time on the show.
Yeah, I've definitely had some weird ones.
This is your job now. This is your career.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide I'm going to become a professional comedian?
2010, October, after I left Korea. I left Korea December 2010. I quit teaching October, just before I went home. And go back to Canada, sign with Yuck Yucks, which is like the biggest comedy chain in the world, Yuck Yucks comedy clubs in Canada. Started touring with them and just kept going, just again, like I'm a worker. Yeah, kind of. That was when I just dove in like head first, like I'm a comedian now, let's try this. I mean, I still made crap money and just, I was able the first couple of years, the money I made in Korea as a teacher, I saved up and it kind of gave me a cushion. And that was the reason to go back to Korea for the second time, was because the first 3 years were just spent partying and having a good time and blowing all my money. Yeah. So I'm like, I got to go back and make up for those party years.
As you do.
And as you do, right? And then that money that I had saved allowed me to go hard at the comedy.
May I ask? May I ask? I'm going to ask her anyway, even if you said
you
no.
may not, sir.
You may not answer.
Yeah. Your process. We ask musicians when they come on in. How do you write a song? How do you just the chords come first, a hook line, or what? So do you have a definite process, or it comes in the middle of the night and you jot it down, or you remember? I don't.
No, there's a lot of that for sure. Yeah, like an idea will come to me just when it comes, and.
Or for something you've seen? Or?
Yeah, it could be something I've seen, something I've read, something, whatever. Usually it's whatever annoys me. When I'm annoyed, I know there's something there.
You are known for your rants.
That don't take me much to be annoyed. If I just get up and
you won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah, but actually you will. That's what actually I'm likable when I'm angry.
You
won't like me any other time, just when I'm angry. Yeah, when I'm annoyed, I feel there's something there, and I just start fleshing it out. Like I might just do point form, like jot down notes, and then go on stage and work it out.
Do you work it out on stage, or do you work it out in front of a mirror, or on the toilet, or
well,
do you go through that
not in a
on
mirror.
new jokes?
Got a mirror when he's sitting in front of the toilet.
Do I need a beard or not? Yes.
No, I'm not on stage for sure. Like especially the first 10 years, I wasn't really a writer. I would jot down notes, kind of like you have here today, and then. But during this pandemic, I've definitely learned. Like I've become a writer. I think this year, like I really write things out now, and it's just a way to stay with my material. But mostly, I would work stuff out on stage.
Live.
Sure.
It's funny because there's some people like Carson in the olden days. They had a set. And a lot of the professional comedians follow the same set for years and just repeat. Yeah. But I think with now, maybe it's Billy Connolly or similar with your genre is more situational comedy. Yeah? So there's new things that are happening which you got to take basically observation and give your and that's the funny part of it. Yeah. But do you have a standard set, or is it just depends what I feel on the night?
Well, it depends. Well, it depends. I mean, I have certain bits I play with. Like for me, I like to, I play with the same kind of bits for like about 2 years, and then try to put them out. Like, I mean, I just put out my special, what I just put out on my special, I'll never do those jokes again.
Really?
Never.
Really?
Never. No, I mean, I shouldn't say never. I mean, if someone, because this happens.
Safe jokes. Yeah, I have the new stuff.
But for me, you have to move on, right? And content is king. Like that's how it was back in the day. Like you said, like a comic would have a set, and he might tell those same jokes, or she might tell those same jokes for 10, 15 years.
I know a few.
And but I mean, I'd go insane if I did that.
So you ad lib in the middle of a live set sometimes.
Yeah, I have to.
I don't know where I'm going with
I have to do that for me.
It comes out.
Like I need that.
Yeah.
Because that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
And now I'm pretty good at it, so like I'm not as scared as I would have been in the beginning, and but like every now and again someone will request, like I had a popular story on my first special, like I get requested to do that sometimes. If anyone's going to request a story, of course I'm going to do it. How nice is that,
Yeah,
but it doesn't happen much. But I won't do those jokes. To be honest, I don't think I'd remember them. That's how it works. Like once it's gone, it's gone.
But that's a hell of a compliment when someone asks you to repeat a joke that they've already heard.
So nice, yeah.
They've already heard it, so they know what it is, and they want you to do it again.
Think about it. Well, you should turn around and say, "Well, you want to hear that joke again? Buy the DVD."
Yeah, exactly.
You can watch it as many times as you like.
Exactly.
How do you deal with hecklers? I mean, hecklers are sort of like good ones and bad. I imagine you can get some real trolls as well.
Yeah, but it's not as. I think it's overrated. It's not as bad as people think. It doesn't happen. At the end of the day, most hecklers are just dickheads that scream in the dark. You know what I mean? Like they're cowards, and all you gotta do is ask them.
Keyboard warriors, except
yeah,
they're in the
pretty much.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
So, talk to them sometimes. If you talk to them and you ask them 3 questions, right? Who are you? Where are you from? By the next question, they've scurried back under the rock. For the most part. Yeah. And of course, though, if you see like a bridal shower of ladies, you're in trouble. It's their night, and it don't matter what your dreams are.
Join them or leave them.
Yeah. So those are nice. You just got to deal with it.
But the standard put down phrases?
No, I don't do that. Like I'll be in the moment. Like I will never use a hack phrase because that's just. I mean, they can work. I see comics do them and they work. But I will. I
mean, hecklers can be good for your set, right? They can add
some live on it.
They can. No, not really. We hate them. No, comics don't like hecklers. Any comic that says they like hecklers is lying.
Really?
Yeah. No, we don't like them. Why would we like them? You're interrupting us. Like, be quiet. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself.
They handle it then very professionally because if they don't see like they're out of their groove, they'll go. And they'll say something really funny back to the heckler,
well, the good ones.
which I think is content.
I think there's also a difference when you've got a big show, and you're on a big stage. You get thousands of people watching, and a heckler's there. You can handle them. But I've seen with some comedians that I've worked with, where they were on the stage and they brought the guy down and really shot him down, and he got up on the stage to go for him, and the comedian ran off the stage. Yeah, honestly, he ran off the stage. The fire exit doors flung open, and we didn't find him till the next day.
Yeah, wow.
You got to be thick-skinned to be a comedian.
Absolutely, you definitely had to be thick-skinned. I mean, with that too. I mean, that happens. To get back on hecklers for a second, it's like it can be enjoyable. Like I have fun with hecklers sometimes, but I certainly don't encourage it. Like Andrew said. Okay, perfect example. Like I was doing a show at the Delta Hotel. I don't know, 6-7 years ago now. Like 500 people, big show, Christmas show. And we're just on a little riser, so just had a little stage at the end of a ballroom. There's a lady in the front row. She's drunk, drunk off her ass, and I see her just looking at me. And all of a sudden, she just gets up and walks on stage and tries to grab the mic from me. And I'm like, no, lady, this can't. There's 500 people in front of me, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was headlining the show. A couple of my friends who were comics who were on before me, they come over because I'm looking for security, right? It's a 5-star hotel, no security. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me right now? And she's just drunk. I'm like, just
Oh no,
lady,
that can ruin a set.
right? I don't want to touch her. I'm just like, I don't, please, you know, right?
Yeah.
And then the comics come over. I'm like, okay, fine, don't get rid of her. They just take a picture and go back in the corner. I'm like, damn it. And anyway, there's a picture of me. It looks horrible. There's literally a picture of me palming her forehead like the Heisman Trophy in college, and I'm like, I'm talking to 500 people, and I had the palm of my hand on this lady's head, and she's trying to grab, and I'm just like, anyway, she ends up crying and making a huge scene and going, and her husband's sitting there doing nothing. I'm like, you know, you idiot, dude, like, come help this. And so, like, that can happen.
Yeah.
But
Do you ever
that
get
was not enjoyable. That
Do you
was
ever get a
absolutely
complete? This is because I would panic because I'm not a stand-up comedian. Never. I'm not thick-skinned either.
Right.
Do you ever get a blank where you go, shit, I don't know what to say next?
Sure. Yeah, man. I mean, not as much anymore, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, the first 5 years at least, lots of times.
Would your go-to line would be, and where do you come from, sir?
If you're able to, sometimes you can't talk to them because they're not close enough. Sometimes you just got to eat it. Sometimes it just sucks.
You know, the hardest thing in a comedy club is filling the front row.
Yeah, because
Nobody wants to be in that front row.
Do you pick on a lot of people?
No, and that's the thing. That's another thing that's kind of overrated. Like, a lot of people think that we do.
That's how I see it,
And
yeah.
we don't. I mean, there's some comics who do that because they have those stock lines like Andrew talked about. Like, they ask you and then they try to act like they're just off the top of the head. But no, I mean, but if someone comes in, you know, ridiculous, wearing a pink wig and got a cane, whatever, I might talk to you
asking
about
for it.
Yeah, they kind of are. That's what they're
And if
sitting
you
up
said
front.
to someone, look, excuse me, where do you come from? They say, oh, Bangkok. You've got some material about Bangkok. Would you?
Yeah.
Does it work? You see, that's why I say it can add to content, can't
Yeah, no,
it?
definitely. It definitely can. Well, I mean, I play a lot here at Khao San Comedy Club, you know, when it was open, especially before COVID. And it gets a huge international audience, right? We'll have, say, like 30, 40 people every night, but it might be 15 countries represented. So it's kind of fun because you get to kind of bounce your jokes off the world, right? And then you start learning, oh, the Dutch are like this, the Finnish are like this. Like, there's stereotypes that hold true.
The Swiss have got no sense of humor.
Right. So you kind of learn, right? And you're like, so you know. So when you say, hey, where are you from? Germany, you're like, okay, let's.
A lot is to do with the size of the room as well to create the atmosphere. But
Yes.
back to this front row, what we used to do is, you know, everywhere they go in the second row and they go, so, who's going to sit in the front row? And we just go along and take all the front row chairs away.
Yeah.
You're being
That's how
promoted,
we
guy.
found it. They're going,
Your favourite gigs? I mean, well, that's a two-part.
Sure.
What type of place would you like to be, and do you have a specific venue that you love going
Well,
back
I've been
to?
lucky. I mean, I've been able to headline Best Kind Comedy Tour now for a couple of years, which is a tour I do back in Canada with my friends Colin Hollett and Mike Lynch. And we built up a pretty good brand now. We're doing like 30, 35 towns. And 2 years ago, we did an arena for the first time.
Now
Which
you're talking.
Which is crazy, right? Just outside my hometown, almost 2,000 people. That we actually got Martin Moore, who I know you know. I don't know if you know, he's an Irish comedy legend, good friend of mine. We brought him in to host it because he was used to that because he opened up for Frankie Boyle for years. And so Martin was used to the big crowds. I mean, that was sensational, right? I'm headlining an arena just outside my hometown.
Hey, what sort of gig? I do arenas.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
cool. And a
yeah,
convention center, which is was in my hometown. Well, just outside, you know, you're out on the billboard for whatever for a month. It's kind of cool. That was like a 1,500 seater. So those were, I mean, just, I mean, a blessing to play. How lucky is that, you know?
so
those are pretty great.
So basically, you've done the arenas, you're doing comedy clubs. You don't need to answer this question. But from my understand is that the comedy clubs, regarded as getting paid, they either do a share of the taking, or they pay you a fee. How do they run this in Thailand and other? What's this common way to do this? Because it's a passion you've got.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like being a musician. You might earn nothing
Right.
for a long time, and then you climb up and you start getting private gigs, and you can take it on for that, and that's how you make your money. And basically, you're using the clubs as a marketing tool.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, for me particularly, I mean, there's not much money in comedy, especially here in Thailand. It's more just showcasing, getting stage time.
Right.
I certainly don't do it for the money. I just like living in Thailand.
Right.
I mean, I'm on tour a lot. My wife teaches here at international school, but yeah, you're right. You start off at first. I mean, you don't get into this for the money.
Yeah.
I mean, the money might not ever come, and it's definitely going to take.
But do they pay something?
A
or
long
what
oh
would you
yeah,
get?
well every club's different. I
Right.
mean, every club's different. Some clubs, you know, pay a flat fee. Other clubs, like you said, a percentage maybe if you're a headline. Some just might offer, food and beverage and a place to stay.
Coupons.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's some
York
shiesty
there.
people in this business, man. And we're the whores. We're not the pimps.
Yeah.
So you can get taken advantage of pretty quick.
Yeah, because what I also saw is when the international circuit, even when the big boys are coming along, they will, even Frankie Boyle, he does it in Glasgow in the Strand, and he'll go and he will fill in. Maybe you get something for it, but not a lot because he's doing another show which is a lot bigger.
Right.
But they go along and that's where they test the material.
Yes.
It's all down to mic time. I mean, in New York, I saw this documentary about comedians. Yes, you'll come on sometime tonight, probably at the end. But can you give coupons out in the corner for everybody to? And so they had to do that. There was a comedy drama series about this, and I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, really?
Famous comic.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he
comics
showed
do that. I
showed
mean,
all that.
Edinburgh, for instance, and all these famous festivals. I mean, you got some of the best comics out in the world hawking their, tickets on the street. I mean, that's. It's a shameless business, man. You want to get in it. You
might get mic time at the end of the night when you're left with 5 drunks.
Well, that's it. And that's why you were talking about earlier being thick-skinned. Like, you have to be for that. You have to. Well, I don't even know if it's brave or dumb or persistent, resilient. You just
it's not dumb.
Have to, but
dumb.
But sometimes you can be ignorant. Like again, I'm kind of a late bloomer, and if I thought about this or overthought this, I'd be freaked out. I just go full steam ahead, and somehow it works out. I mean, that's kind of how I do it. It's like banging your head against the wall, man. Another set tonight. Let's do it.
Your material. We've talked about how you develop material.
This is a good one.
But what about who do you think you appeal to? If you had to make a demographic, you can say, everybody. Yeah. Well, not kids. Yeah.
No.
Are you blue?
I'm borderline. I can be. I don't really label it. Like, I mean, but not really. I mean, I definitely have stuff. I mean, I've talked about, stuff that's blue, but I mean, I get uncomfortable even having that conversation with adults. You know what I mean? Like, just be an adult. You know what I mean? Just enjoy a story, for Christ's sake.
It'd be fun telling it to children. Mark.
Yeah, but even children would be more understanding. I mean, I would say, honestly, almost everybody, because I'm getting better at being very silly and more universal now, but like definitely someone who's looking for a bit of a politically incorrect good time. I'm not going to sit there and feed you a bunch of hack stuff that you've heard 1,000 times.
Right.
That's not my stuff. I might challenge you a little bit. I might get a little ranty. I might make you uncomfortable. But for me, that's funny. Like, I might talk about relationships, and I might say some real stuff. And you're sitting next to your missus, whatever, and then you can just feel it,
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Feel the heat coming.
Yeah, so it might get emotional for you, but that's a good time, I think.
Yeah, and normally the lady will laugh anyway. Yeah.
Well, that's
She's
it,
there
man.
in the
Those are
first
my
place,
favorite. My favorite is when I say something like that, and like, whether it's say something if I'm saying it about women or men or whoever the person is, and they know it's true, and they can't help but laugh at it.
Well, they identify
and that's a
with
beautiful
it,
moment. Yeah, that's a moment where like they're like, oh, you.
Okay,
you caught me.
Here's a question. Brian. Have you been at a gig or seen a gig on TV or whatever where you've heard that comedian tell your joke?
No, but I've known it to happen to many other comedians. I've known comics who stole a joke, and I'm not going to say the names, but there's a Malaysian comic.
Whose name is...
No, and who...
And he comes to Miss Town
and his name is Kunting Kong.
No, well, I guess I shouldn't even say that, but there was a guy, I mean, it happens all the time, and he stole a joke from a fairly famous comedian, and just by fluke, he was telling the joke, and that comedian was in the audience.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
And what happened?
They had a moment.
I would have smacked it. Well, I wouldn't. I'm not violent.
No, but you can. It can happen. I mean,
can you copyright your jokes?
No, what's the thing? You can't.
It's a
really.
courtesy. Yeah?
I mean, you can copy. I mean, I guess
Phrase line
like
or
my
something.
special I just did. Those are copyright now. So it's like
because they're on a recording.
Right, they're on a recording. So if you do that, yes, but not really, right? And that's the problem. Is
I'm going to sue you. I know you don't make any money.
right.
Yeah,
Well, that's
but if
it
you were
too.
called like Brian the Funny Man, just say that. You could copyright that phrase
Yes.
and that title.
Yes.
But the content of your show can't be copywritten if it's live.
Yes, and
not
guys
being
that steal
recorded.
jokes, guys and girls that steal jokes, they're slick. They find ways like you can't really stop that. But that's I think where I'm lucky. Where I like the only way to be original is kind of talk about yourself. So I talk about myself. So you can't really steal my stuff.
No.
Because it's really personal, So it's like you can try, but I've seen it happen a lot. I mean, I've called out comics. That's the one thing I won't tolerate. It's the most insulting thing.
And
you know what I
there's a
mean? Like
sign.
we're giving our lives for this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm here doing 3,000 shows all around the world, busting my ass, and you're just going to show up and take my joke? No, not a chance.
Favorite comics?
Patrice O'Neill. I don't know if you know who Patrice O'Neill is. He's kind of an underground guy. A lot of guys don't know him. He's no longer with us, but Boston comic. just this big, black, gregarious dude he really, like he was about to be kind of the next Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. You'll love him. He's incredible.
What about Chappelle?
Yeah, I mean, Chappelle's a genius. I mean, his stuff is, it's next level stuff, but he's becoming almost now like, he's getting militant, man. So I don't know if, I don't know where he's going.
Bill Burr as well. Is it Bill Burr?
Yeah, Bill Burr's great.
I love watching that guy.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, of course, he's one of the best. But I mean, growing up, it was like, for me, it was Codco, which is a sketch company out of my hometown.
Yeah.
They're like SCTV, Saturday Night Live. They're not well known internationally, but I think they're the best. We loved those guys growing up. Billy Connolly for me was huge. I mean, when I first saw him for the first time, I was just like, who tells a better story than Billy Connolly? Who's more charming than Billy Connolly?
Yeah.
Nobody, right?
You've worked with lots of famous, certainly in the comedy club circuit, some really big names.
Yeah.
Who have you, of times you've worked with, who have you thought was, not to say the best because that's a difficult thing to say, everyone's different, but who have you respected, who've influenced you?
Yeah, influences.
I don't know about influence, but just, I mean, I work with, okay, this is interesting. So I think it was 2011, maybe 2012. I went to Jakarta and did the Jakarta Fringe Festival. And at the time, I was the worst comic by far in the festival. They had like, Tom Rhodes was there, Bill Bailey was there, Emo Phillips was there, some real killers. And so I went and, it went well. I mean, I was all right, but it was, Bill Bailey was performing his show and he had the music and he had the whole thing. He had videos, because apparently he lives in Indonesia now as well.
A microphone without a cord.
Yes, right. It was a performance. And it actually, I remember because it was my 7th year anniversary in comedy that day. And I was out I was out looking to buy something for my girlfriend. And I bumped into Emo Phillips in the store with his girlfriend. And we ended up spending just a whole day together and just having great conversations and really geeking out on some things. Then we go to see Bill Bailey together. And it's kind of cute. We're actually in the elevator in this mall in Indonesia, and the doors open up, and this person who happened to be a real big Emo Phillips fan was there. I mean, what are the chances of this? An Indonesian guy who loved Emo Phillips, the elevator opens and it's Emo Phillips? The guy it was pretty adorable. He was shocked. Yeah. But that was an amazing moment. I remember that just because, he was so kind and shared a lot with me. So I don't know if it's really they influenced me, but I just look at guys who are so good at that level. Like Gilbert Gottfried was another one. I split headline with Gilbert Gottfried one weekend in my hometown. That was amazing.
Do you sort of go, wow, I've just seen genius on the stage?
Yeah, well, that level of just commitment to the bit and to the joke and just where they're like an entity. It's like
work in the room.
There's a big network as well. You can develop from that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, well, that's great too. If you ever get the respect from guys like that, they can definitely put you on other levels. By introducing you to those level comics.
Because from so you've been in Canada, US as well, yeah?
No, I had a US tour planned last summer and it got wiped out because of COVID. I've lived in the US, but I've never performed.
So within the different crowds, because everyone's brought up in a different way, what's the difference between the Asian audience and the Western audience?
It's different, I guess, every country you go to. I mean, over here, as you guys might know, like you get a lot of expat crowds here.
So they're not really Asian, are they?
Right, they're not as Asian, right? They're expats. But I mean, if you go to China, Malaysia, Singapore, you get a lot of locals, so it's a little different. And every country is different, right? You go to China, I think there's the 3 T's you can't mention. There's Taiwan, Tibet, and Tiananmen Square. That's kind of a thing.
All right, that's a good one.
So it's good to know.
And for here, there's obviously the obvious
don't say the K word, right? You never say that.
Yeah.
Malaysia, it's more a kind of militant Islam now, so you stay away from all that right now. So you learn little things like that. But one thing I find with the Asian audience, which has helped me, I think, is there might even be a little bit of a language barrier, so they really like physical act-outs. And because there's something...
Body language.
Yeah, body language. So I started, I think, doing that naturally here just to kind of engage them more.
I was going to bring that in.
It's
I've
made
seen
my
that
act
on
better.
your videos.
Because they like kind of silliness.
More animated.
And it connects you more because they might miss a phrase or a word, but the act-out kind of makes up for it. And so I think that's a little different, is the physical act-outs are more appreciated here, I think.
I would think expats would appreciate your work more than if you were to go to America, where they live there and they're spoiled for choice. I'm not saying they're going to laugh at you, but I would think they appreciate you more, maybe bringing that culture to them and they can see it because they don't get it every day.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They only get on TV. So I would say an Asian audience, expat audience, could be easier to work than maybe somebody in Seattle.
I think you're right. Yeah, because they crave a little bit of home, right?
Correct.
It's like playing a bit of music or whatever. Yeah, definitely. You're going to feel it. There's an appreciation in the room for a connection.
Yeah.
I mean, especially it's funny, we do the shows at Khao sometimes at the Khao Comedy Club.
You like Khao, don't you?
Well, I like the young people. I like seeing young people from all over the world. No, like Khao for me, I'm too old for that. I don't even, after the show's over, I'm gone. I don't want to be around Khao. Well, yeah, they appreciate it more, like, because you don't see the young people, they come to Bangkok, they're kind of scared for the first time, like, oh, I'm in big bad Bangkok, and then you tell a few silly Bangkok jokes, and they relax a little bit more, and you let them know, hey, it's no big deal. There is a connection that happens.
We've got to move on, unless you've got any other questions about this bit.
I knew you from way back when you're in Bangkok and you were doing what was it, Drunken Leprechaun and
Mad About Comedy.
Yeah, we did another well-known guy who I've forgotten his name who came, and that was when you were kicking off. But what I've noticed is you've been different from the other comedians I know, because what you seem to have done is you seem to have taken this comedy to a point of being a business and treating it as a business. And what you've said is, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to market myself and create a brand for yourself, which I think is something different from others, because others are not dedicated because maybe got another job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
So they turn around and go, well, yeah, it's a hobby, which is great. Yeah. And some are very, very good. Is that how you actually approached it? Because now you get your own DVD, which is coming out, you get your website, you're getting bookings everywhere, you're on a circuit, you're doing tours. Yeah. And basically, what I see, which is really impressed, this is why I also wanted to interview you, was a differentiation from you compared to many. You've basically said, I'm going to position myself, I'm going to brand myself, I'm going to give perception. People should get a feeling of what they expect when they see me.
Sure.
What's the question?
So I've just plugged them.
Yeah, keep going. I love it.
So
I don't have to say anything.
Right,
Perfect.
so the question is,
get another coffee.
Is this right? Is this what you've been? Is it just turned out that way, or this?
No, I mean, it was definitely a conscious decision. It was kind of despite myself. I've learned, I guess, over the years, I'm full of self-sabotage. So I mean, these are things I've been talking about. I really am. So these are things I've been talking about for years. I've driven people close to me crazy talking about stuff. And yeah, I got to the point where, because for me it took I've been doing comedy 15 years. I didn't think I was really any good at this till year 10. Right. And then I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this now. And then a few other years after that, I'm like, okay, I feel like I got something to truly offer. Yeah. Because, instead of like, you see a lot of comics now, they're in comedy 2 years, they're dropping a special. It's like, don't do that. Just don't.
So you had the confidence?
Well, no, I didn't. I earned the confidence, by working. Yeah. And that's what gives me all the confidence, because I can sit here and go, I work hard at this. And that gives me all the confidence in the world. But then it became selling, and I think I come by it naturally. My father was a salesman, and I just learned that I'm the brand, so I remind myself of that. Like, I got to sell myself, and it's uncomfortable, the selling process, but no one else is going to do it. Yeah. The gatekeepers are not around anymore. That doesn't work. No one's coming to help you. And a lot of things, especially in Canada, because Americans have no problem selling themselves. I don't know what it's like in Britain. I think you guys are pretty good at it too.
Well, I wouldn't know.
I mean, not as much, but Americans definitely. But Canadians, a lot of comics like to just think it's beneath them kind of to sell themselves. But these are the same people that go and talk about their genitals on stage in front of people. It's like, sell yourself. You know what I mean? Like, what are you? Like, come on. So and I'm talking about myself when I say this. So I've realized that it's like, you just got to do it. No one else is doing it. And then finally, when you have enough money to put behind yourself, like finally I made enough money where I'm like, okay, I can put out a nice website now and drop a couple of $1,000s. I can invest in myself. I can market. I can promote.
So do you use social media a lot, or is it?
I'm not great at it, man. I mean, I don't even have a phone. I had to get into my wife's phone today to be here.
Yeah, nearly got
in case I got lost.
Which you did anyway.
I don't.
Phobia?
It annoys me.
Don't call me.
Yeah, kind of. It annoys me. I don't like it. I mean, I'm on Instagram, but not really. I should get back on it. I mean, I'm on Facebook, YouTube.
Well, at least you're not getting the trolls then, yeah? You're not getting all the trolls in the comments.
Yeah, well, I don't. To me, there's got to be a balance of like, I get sick of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be talking about myself all the time, and I just, it just annoys me. So why would I do it? Like, it just annoys me. Why do I need a phone?
We're going to just finish off with all your projects and Bangkok, but there's one question that we missed. Did you ever tour without your other half, your partner?
Sure, yeah, all the time.
Holly,
yeah, Holly, yeah.
Okay. Lovely
groupies. Groupies. Do you get groupies?
Listen,
you must have gone mad.
No,
right?
man. Listen, tuba
jealous.
Like a rabbit. You must have been.
Tuba players get more chicks than comedians, man. Comedians don't get groupies. I don't know if they tell you they do, they're lying.
I had a feeling that was the answer.
It's not who we are, man. We're like,
you just joke about it because they can't do it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's who comics are, man.
Can you name a good-looking comic? I can't.
How dare you? I mean, there's some comics definitely live that rock star life, but it's not many.
Yeah.
And it's just not who we are, man. We're antisocial for the most part,
Well,
you know?
Pardon me, I had to answer that
No,
question,
I
you
appreciate
know,
that. Not for me. I
Imagine
mean,
you know.
every now and again I'll go on tour. There'll be some old lady who gives me the eye or whatever, and or some young lady who got daddy issues, you know. But I mean, you know, I'm 47 years old now. I know that. Like if I started at 20, I'm sure I would have wasted a few years chasing girls and stuff. Like, I mean, I did that anyway.
You were, yeah.
Of course, I did it anyway. But I mean, that's kind of over now, you know.
Yeah.
And
Are you a drinker?
yeah, definitely. Not as much as I used to be, but I used to be a heavy drinker, yeah, for sure. And
So it goes with the thing, doesn't it?
well, you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Some are teetotal. Some are totally
You
teetotal.
know, I get that, but I would say most are not.
Well, a lot now though. The new generation, they just like smoke weed. I mean, a lot of these young people back in the day. I mean, everybody was a drunk and a druggie, but now a lot of the young comics don't drink. Like a great percentage.
So they go
of
on a little bit high.
Yeah, a little bit high or whatever. I mean, I drank, but it was more just cause. I mean, it definitely didn't. But never on stage. I would never.
That's
go
what I'm saying.
drunk
You
on
drank
stage.
more after your gig, not before it.
Yeah,
right?
and you got to be careful with that because the emotions of it, right? You got to be. I mean, whether it's a bad gig or a good gig, sometimes a good gig's worse. Because you get off stage, you got that buzz.
Oh, yeah.
And then what do you do with it?
You don't come down for a while, do you?
No, it could be a few hours, right?
Yeah,
Could be a few
absolutely.
days, depending on the drugs, you know?
Do you get the same questions from the audience afterwards? You go to the bar, you maybe have a beer, and go, "That was really good. I love that joke." And
Right.
And you still go, "Oh."
Well, that's one of the reasons I drink, is that reason, because that's torturous.
And the only reason why
yeah,
you
I'm like, just a second.
And the only reason why you're
Skull of
drinking in
beer.
that club is because you're getting a good discount. Otherwise, you'd go to the club down the road, but
that's
you'd
right.
have to pay full price.
In the beginning, that's it. You exist off that, right? That
yeah.
chicken wings and those 2 beer, that's your late supper.
I've heard Joe Rogan go on about that. You know,
I mean, at the beginning, I mean, it's scanty, man.
Okay, you're in Bangkok. You've been here for a while now, I take it.
5 years,
And
yeah.
do you say this is your home now?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you mentioned that. My wife and I have been talking this
Is
week.
she Thai,
and,
by the way,
no,
or-
she's Canadian. She's from
Okay.
Newfoundland as well, my hometown. And yeah, we're talking about possibly living here permanently now. We love it. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, Thailand's amazing. It's funny, before COVID, we were talking about moving possibly to India or Africa. Because I wanted to kind of
Where's
be.
words?
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted to be. I want to see the world. That's one
Yeah,
thing I can't
yeah.
get out of my system. Like, I'm a wanderer, and I wanted to be based out of Cape Town and then travel, tour Africa for a couple of years, get to see 10, 15 countries there, go to India. I wanted to tour India. I'm curious. But then when we started thinking about leaving Thailand, we were just reminded how awesome Thailand is, right? Because we're like, how do you beat this? I mean, I'm from Newfoundland, where some of the worst weather in the world.
Well, it is a weather
I mean,
thing a
the
lot. isn't it?
sunshine's
You know?
amazing.
Yeah.
The sunshine alone. I mean, the food, the people, we love it here. So,
So
yeah.
it's going to be your base.
Yeah, for sure. For
So
the
COVID.
foreseeable future.
But how does she cope with you traveling? For you say you're away for 10 weeks at a time, and how does Holly
She probably
manage
thinks,
that?
thank
Yeah?
goodness he's
A little bit,
right?
yeah, but I think that's healthy, man. I mean, we don't have kids. I mean, so that helps. I mean, being away from kids would be horrible.
She's the teacher, so
she's a teacher, and she gets
occupied.
it. I mean, she's a very funny person herself. She comes, her family's a bunch of hams, so she knows it. And yeah, if they're watching, Gail.
Yeah, say hello to everybody.
Yeah. Her mom's a riot. And yeah, she gets it, man. But it's the most I've been away from her is like 10 weeks. I do a tour every year in Canada.
That's a long time. to
That's
be
a long
away.
time. That
Yeah.
sucks. That sucks.
Especially without groupies.
Yeah, especially without groupies. Yeah.
Especially without
Yeah.
groupies.
It gets pretty sad. It's just me binge eating in hotel rooms all across Canada.
Here's the question. So she probably doesn't want you to be away for 10 weeks. So is she the one turned around and said, "Listen, I know you do 10 weeks of shows and you bring in the money.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do it the easy way? Do one show and put it on DVD."
Yeah, she was the. I mean, she's good. Well, the thing about my wife, Holly's so great. Is like I'd want her to be there with me. Like Holly's that
She's
girl.
your manager, really? Then, or are you manage everything yourself?
She's talked about it,
or?
but we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
okay.
That's
Security.
That's too much. But I think she's talking about possibly taking a year off soon. So we're trying to manage that, and we're like.
She's thinking about it at school. Don't worry, thinking about it.
Well, no, the school knows about it. We were talking about taking a leave where, and then we do some hardcore traveling and touring together. And she wants to do the same. She wants to see the world with me. So.
Well, we know
should.
we know that
Go on,
COVID's
life.
obviously affected lots of people, musicians, comics, obviously. And you were saying you had a whole US. How many gigs was in that tour that was cancelled?
Man, I had shows in Atlanta, LA, Dallas, New York. Just a little run through. America canceled. I had a Middle East tour, 5 countries canceled. My annual
pockets
Canadian
hurting.
tour. Oh, big time! It was a massive hit. But again, it's not personal. It's everyone's going through it.
And it's it will get better.
Yeah, and you adjust. I found myself like, I'm pretty good at the hustling, man. Like, and I've learned to be better at it. Like, my special's coming out now, so I had to deal with a lot of contractual stuff.
Yeah, let's
like
talk
that.
about that special thing.
And I learned through that because I'm not good with that stuff. When it comes to administration and dealing with authority, I don't do well, you know.
Well,
but I've learned there's a rhythm to it, and there's a way to be, and I've learned that. I've become a better writer. I'm coming out with a web series next month called Buddy in Bangkok, where I'm just going to go around Bangkok and put out 4-minute episodes a week of me just getting up to things.
Where are you going to put it on YouTube? Or?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh.
In June, I'm going to have a podcast myself called Half an Hour Later, which is just going to be a half hour of me going mad.
Okay.
So I've been working on these projects, writing these episodes, so I've been busy doing that.
So they're going to be like rant casts?
Yeah, it's going to be rants, it's going to be stories. Yeah, it's just going to be, because you know how people are, they ask you what's Bangkok like, and they only know the stereotypical stuff, but I'm just going to show them just random everyday things.
Well, you've got a YouTube channel already.
Yeah, YouTube channel, Brian Aylward Comedy, just started that, so if people go to that, they'll be able to see all this.
I have a problem with your surname. Say it again.
Aylward.
Aylward.
Yeah.
Why don't they spell with an E?
Oh, they do. There's all kinds of
No,
ways. I've
they
given
like
up.
the gay,
I've given up caring.
Where's that name from? Is it?
It's Irish. I think it's from like Cork, Waterford.
Right, okay.
Back there, yeah.
Okay. Well, here we go. So look, we're going to put loads of details under this video. Oh, you got another question?
Plug. Tell us about
Yeah,
your
that's what I was
DVD.
gonna
Yeah,
say.
plug. Well, today's the big day, actually. Today, my special Big in Asia comes out on Amazon Prime all around the world.
Big in Asia, yeah.
Big in
Hey,
Asia.
we're talking Amazon Prime here, right?
Yeah, man,
I
it's
mean,
pretty
that's not
exciting.
like, you know...
So it's everywhere. America today, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all over the world.
So this is on a channel or is it a DVD?
No, it's Amazon Prime, like the station Amazon
their
Prime.
program.
The program,
Right.
the streaming service, Amazon Prime. And it's also on Google Play and Apple TV
There's loads
and
of
Vimeo.
people on there. Good, like,
you can
good,
find
yeah.
it everywhere, yeah, big in Asia. But Amazon Prime is the big one. That's today. So yeah, that's
Are you going to
that's a
be
big
home
day.
and look at the numbers?
And you have a DVD?
No, I
for
can't do
sale?
that, dude. I'll go crazy.
You have a DVD?
No, with that DVD you can download. You
What's
can
a
just watch it.
DVD?
Stream it.
Right, okay,
Stream it and
okay,
watch
okay.
it. Yeah. And
DVD?
yeah.
I was going to say,
Well, I don't want to.
Get with the program.
VHS tape for a second.
Yeah.
I'm 20 years older than you.
Yeah.
I don't have a... I bet you still have a
He's
player,
got to come
right?
to the foot of the mountain, and I will scream from the mountaintop.
So
No,
sort
it's
of,
just a streaming service, right? If you're an Amazon
Way to
subscriber,
go.
you get
Right.
it for free, and if you don't, you could just
Netflix
click.
it, you aim for Netflix
Yeah,
next?
basically click. Well, we'll see. I mean, if this does well, it definitely puts me in a position for something.
You know who's on Amazon
Great.
Prime streaming? There's loads of big people
Yeah,
on there.
it's
I mean,
it's a big deal. I mean,
yeah,
Comedy
it's big.
Dynamics are the biggest distributing company in the world. They do all the big guys, Chappelle, Kevin Hart. So what happened was I independently filmed this myself in Mongolia. So I went to Mongolia a
never
couple of
talked
years
about
ago and met a film crew, met a comedy club guy there who they have this amazing comedy club in Ulaanbaatar called UB Comedy Club. I loved it. The hospitality was off the charts. And then I decided to film there. So I financed it all myself, took the risk. And then by fluke, my friend knew somebody at Comedy Dynamics, thought we should send it in to them. And less than a week later, I was signing the contract.
Perfect.
I saw a
So,
picture from now.
it
You
worked.
with a llama or something, wasn't
Oh,
it?
that was actually funny. We filmed the special. So like what you usually do, we do Friday and Saturday night, and then you edit it together, right? So Friday night, 40 or 50 people didn't show up. They had a power outage. And so nothing is from Friday night. I ended up shooting a live special just by mistake almost, because everything's from Saturday night. But after we finished, we're sitting around just having some wine and like, what are we going to do for the intro? And the guy goes, would you ride a horse? And I was like, yeah, I'll ride a horse.
Yeah, never done it before, right?
Haven't done it since I was 8 years old. And next day they pick us up, me and my wife, and drive us out into the mountains of Mongolia, 3 hours outside Ulaanbaatar. We got a stunt man, we got a film crew, we got a horse. And the intro I think is the best
great,
intro
yeah,
of any
yeah,
comedy
yeah,
special
yeah.
ever. And that was all AFE Films. Those guys were amazing. That was the coldest day of my life. It was like minus 40, and I was on a Mongolian horse in the middle of nowhere.
Brian, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, absolutely,
Really,
man.
time's flown by, which is always a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks
really
for having me,
enjoyed it.
guys.
No, I hope
appreciate
you
it.
guys enjoyed it as well. Brian, everybody.
See, I didn't say the surname.
That's all right. Yeah, some fella.
Yeah, he's got a funny surname, and all the stuff about him is underneath in the description below, so check that out. So that's it for us. Just like to say thanks to the subscribers that have subscribed. If you haven't yet, then it would be a great idea if you could, for us anyway. And also click on the like and the share and that little notification bell. Small click for you, big click for us. From Andrew, myself, and Brian.
See you later.
See you next time.